What is Metro? Is he running around? Metro. Is he all chilled out?
Yeah.
Is the banter whack? Is he mental? Fundamental. Metro. Like a waist? Metro. Is there a car chase? Metro. Corner's going down. New Metro episode teaser. It's your world. Metro.
It's the Buddy Shotz Podcast, coming to you pre-recorded and edited with your hosts, Matt and Mike, starring Vince Frost, Skeleton Host, The Frog Guy, Buddy the Dolphin, and Dragon Country Dude. With films Metro, starring Eddie Murphy, and the best of Saturday Night Live, Eddie Murphy edition. Here are your hosts, Matt and Mike. Take it away, me.
Welcome to Buddy Shotz for Eddie Murphy Week.
Hell yeah.
Metro Week.
210. Yeah, fuck SNL, apparently. It's Metro Week. Let's go ahead and let you just, talk about why you picked what you picked here.
I've been wanting to pick Metro for a while because
Okay.
I like it, and I wanted to see if you would like it. It's like one of the, and I know we're both big Eddie Murphy fans,
Yeah.
and it's one of his, under-seen movies, I think.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it.
No one ever talks about Metro
Yeah.
anymore. And I wanted to do weird watches, and he wasn't really on much TV besides SNL, because he went right into movies and became a movie star directly from SNL. So
Yeah. SNL is a big launching pad for a lot of people.
Yeah.
For, being movie stars.
And I really enjoyed watching the skits. Should we start with SNL?
Yeah.
Just watched a compilation of some of his best sketches, according to, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Shockingly,
together.
no one had seen either one of these. Well, not shockingly. Metro was not a shock.
I'm surprised.
I'd actually never sat down and watched the best of it, Eddie Murphy, before in SNL, but the only ones I think we had were just Adam Sandler and maybe probably Chris Farley.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the height of SNL for most people when in our age was watching around that time, and then after that it kind of dropped off.
Yeah.
But this is about Eddie Murphy. I don't know. Two skits on this one kind of I didn't really understand why they were on here.
Which ones?
We'll get to them, but well, unless you want me to talk about it now. But this is a compilation for Eddie Murphy, and I don't know how these skits made it onto SNL, let alone a compilation. I don't know if
Are they the Joe Piscopo heavy ones?
No, because one of them. One of them was where, because there's a ton of different characters, I guess, that he's had through the years, but one of them is he goes into this bar and Joe Piscopo is playing, and it's not really a skit. It's something you would see at a freeform art house,
Like a coffee house.
Yeah, because he comes in and he's they're joking around and no one's really laughing, and then he's tries to give Eddie Murphy money, and then he gives him money, and at the end it's solemn, it's serious, and then that's the skit, and I was
that was weird.
Huh? It just seemed really out of place, and I was I could see, I don't know, I think Joe Piscopo was also known for doing stuff like that on SNL and just in general, when he sung to his fucking girlfriend and shit.
Yeah, these were dark times for SNL. If it wasn't for Eddie Murphy, the show would have folded.
I feel him and Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo became really close, apparently. It seemed because a lot of his skits, whenever there was a random white dude in it, it was him, and it was they seemed to work really well together. But it was just kind of weird that it was this was not a skit. It was almost not a funny skit. It was more so a drama piece, to try out to be hey, we can do more than comedy. And I was that can work, but it was also just kind of weird because there was no comedy in it. It was just And the other one was the one where he talks about George Washington Carver, but he's like fucking up a bunch. And it's like, if he hadn't fucked up, it wouldn't have been funny at all. Mm-hmm. It was literally just him talking about the history of George Washington Carver, and some lady was ripping on him, and every time she ripped on him, he told her to shut up.
You
and
made
it's
me
like,
smile.
that's what the funny part was, him fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, was that intended, or like, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
Because otherwise it was literally Eddie Murphy talking about history, and I was like, that's, like, nobody was laughing.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how I got with the... But other than that, I mean, it was just... And it wasn't that I was, like... It was just kind of... Out of nowhere, something happens, and you think, okay, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
did you think that when you watched it? Mm-hmm. Like, when you... What did you think when you first saw that? Like, when did you first see the skits? Like,
I think most of them, this was the first time I'd seen it.
yeah.
I was like, that wasn't good, but I knew that this was a bad period for SNL in general, with Eddie Murphy carrying the show.
Right, but I mean, like, the other ones were funny. That
Mm-hmm.
one was just... I'd never seen anything like that on SNL before. Like, even currently, it was like... yeah, I guess I've already explained what it was, but...
It was weird.
I think that's the best word for it, is weird. I kind of want to go down skits here.
Yeah, I
James Brown hot tub skit. That's an all-time classic.
Hot tub.
Yeah. He's like, too hot. Like, then they do the intro for SNL, and there's like some random bullshit clapping throughout it, and I'm like, okay. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, where he's Mr. Rogers, but it's like he's someone that, you know, I mean, I don't know if people have seen it or not. I'm sure a lot of people have. That's one of his bigger characters on there, but he's like a dude that's always like avoiding his landlord, and, you know.
I'm probably gonna say this a lot, but it was just so funny. Like, Eddie, he was one of the biggest stars in the world, and it's easy to see why, because he's awesome.
Some of the stuff that I didn't really understand. I mean, at first it was like, okay, Buckwheat comes out and he sings, and then like he's like killed, and then like they cover it a bunch of times, and at first it wasn't funny, but then it became like ridiculy funny, because
Dude, I thought it was hilarious.
At first it wasn't funny at all. I was like, what?
Just the idea of Buckwheat being assassinated is hilarious.
If you say so.
But they were parodying the Ronald Reagan getting shot
totally timely
video.
For then it was, but watching it now, you're like, okay. Then again, like,
this is dated.
Who
the
the fuck else is watching that besides old fucks? Most people know Eddie Murphy as Donkey from fucking Shrek at this point.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna eclipse anything else he's ever done.
That's a shame.
Is it though? I mean, at least he has something.
That's true.
I thought this was pretty, like, I think revolutionary, was when he goes undercover as like the white guy.
That was my favorite.
It's definitely like
paved
awesome. The way for like Dave Chappelle and stuff like that. He goes undercover as a white guy, and like whenever there's only like white people around, like that he gets like free stuff, and like the only black guy gets off the bus, and like the bus, like there's like a cocktail waitress and all this other stuff that happens.
It was so ridiculous.
And he goes to the bank and he like gets free money, and like it's like,
it was hard hitting.
At first you think it was going to be like serious and stuff, where it's like, you know, obviously, like, you know, there are two Americas, like, you know, he's going to be treated differently, but it's like to the extreme of like, you know, when there's only white people around, they give each other stuff for free, and like
that was the best one. Plus it was super long. It was like 10 minutes long. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that one was the best one.
I'd never seen that before. I loved it.
The Velvet Joan ones, I didn't really... It was just literally he was like, become a prostitute. And I was like, okay.
Like, that's
some of these were like super quick. It was like... Which I was like... I feel like there had to have been like better ones for a compilation for some of these, because like the Be a Ho was like time filler. Then we have Joe Piscopo as Sinatra, and Eddie Murphy as Stevie Wonder, and Ebony and Ivory. That was pretty much... That was a thing for them to show off that they could sing and play instruments.
Do you like Joe Piscopo?
I'd never really seen him, like... on SNL. Like I wasn't watching back in the day, and like so
Because we were like 1 and 0
this
years
was
old.
new for me because I know they had people have talked about how like at least back in the day he was supposed to go because he was one of the huge. Besides Eddie Murphy, those two were like holding it down.
I feel like he's become kind of a punchline over the years.
Well, he left SNL, and instead of becoming like hugely popular like he probably should have been, he did nothing.
Yeah,
he did like Dead Heat, which we
Dead
talked
Heat.
about, and that's
With him and Treat.
Yeah,
that was a good one. I liked it.
Yeah, but it's still understandable why nobody went and saw it.
Yeah, and don't forget Sidekicks, my favorite.
There you have it. I don't think I've seen that one before. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
He's good in it.
But it's like those types of films. It's not exactly something you would think that you would start your career off as a comedian, because like he has a bunch of jokes in that movie, but it's like it's about two dudes that become zombies essentially. It's like okay. But I thought he was good on here. He could do. Like, he could sing. He was kind of like a triple threat. He could sing, he could act, he could, do impressions. I don't know if he was, like, super happy with his Sinatra one. I guess he probably was. I think he acts like him and Sinatra are, like, best pals, IRL. But, like, I never... there was literally only a couple where you could really even tell what his main characters are. This isn't a best of Joe Piscopo, even though he shows up like I think 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I thought he was fine. I don't know. I didn't really, like I said, I haven't watched enough of that era to really know.
The first thing I ever saw him in was Sidekicks when I was a little kid, and I liked him from that. So like I've always liked him just because of that one movie.
Where we talked about the Black History Minute. It was kind of like a weird section.
Then there was Little Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
I didn't love that one. I was a little bit silly.
On SNL, that was silly. Yeah, okay. I thought that definitely showed Eddie's ability to captivate the crowd.
Oh, yeah,
more than any of the other skits on this. We talked about Buckwheat being fucking murdered, and like it literally goes on for like 10 minutes because it plays on, like you said, the whole thing of where they played up that Reagan was shot, and they would just show the footage over and over again, making fun of like the media for just being like, check it out, and when it really like it was okay, but it really became funny for me when they talked to like the person that killed him, and then like they like found out like they like when it like they were like, it really pisses me off when you guys in the media like glorify the killer, and then they go into like straight into a well prepared like backstory of like interviewing all of his like classmates, and it's like they'd be like, oh, he's such a great guy and he was so nice, and they're like, do you believe he did? Oh yeah, totally. Like he's always talking about how he was gonna kill Buckwheat, and I was like that's I think what made it next level, like actual really
good.
Funny for me was that where it was like, and he was like, my cat or my dog told me to kill him, he was the Antichrist. Also, like when he gets killed and he's like, oh, been shot, oh. And I was like, yeah. I guess this was a reoccurring one too. Like, well, I guess we had prisoners are the best authors. The main thing I thought was funny about that was almost like when it was treated as like almost like British humor, where like they're like, they talk about all these like Faulkner and stuff. Where are the best authors today? And then like it just cuts to someone saying prison, and I was like, but the rest of it was like,
yeah, I was like,
Eddie Murphy
landlord.
pissed off because he like doesn't get recognition as the Tooth Fairy.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's kind of This was very like we got Buckwheat on here. We got the Tooth Fairy and Gumby. It's like
It was a bad
this
period.
is lame as fuck.
I wasn't a big fan of the Gumby one.
Gumby as like essentially like a Jewish dude that goes to this delicatessen and he meets up with old friends like Martin Short. Billy Crystal, I was shocked. Martin Short and Billy Crystal. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
3 fucking huge heavyweights in one scene and some random dude.
All just doing Jewish stereotype stuff. I was like, okay.
I liked the Eddie saying he was the 5th Beatle. That was probably one of
the best.
Yeah. I like when they play the records backwards and the Beatles say, let's kick out Clarence and steal all the good ideas. And I was like...
That was great.
And it was also like, literally, it was like... It was like, he's like, yeah, originally, talking about all the songs that he wrote, and it was like, I want to hold your hand, man. Like, all of them just added man to the end, and it was like, you had the Beatles singing their songs, and then he would just record himself into it, like, yeah.
And play sax solo.
Yeah!
I was impressed that they put him in, like, pictures with the Beatles, because that was before Photoshop. It probably took some work to do that.
They look like shit. It was so funny because it was so obviously fake, but it was hilarious because that's what made it funny. Yeah.
Buckwheat is dead.
Yeah. My note about another Joe Piscopo and Eddie just riffing, then it gets serious.
Yep.
Then it ends off with Stevie Wonder actually on the show doing an impression of Stevie Wonder in front of Eddie. And then
doing a bad impression of himself.
And then Eddie Murphy's like, this is how you do it. And then Stevie Wonder instantly just drops it and becomes himself. So it was just like, I'm sure that was a highlight of Eddie Murphy's life.
It was delightful. He was cracking up. Did you see? He totally broke. He was just laughing through the whole thing.
I'm like, did you see it? Yeah. Good stuff.
That was good. An enjoyable hour of entertainment.
Some good stuff, some misses, but that's SNL. So one of the main reasons why I really don't watch anymore. But
yeah.
Have you watched any of the other ones on there, like Chris Rock and?
Yeah, I watched them all.
Do you have a fan? Are you like any one of these specifically? You'd say is the best, or?
I mean, I like them all. Tracy Morgan was pretty darn funny, dude. Like, you can't go wrong.
Some of his stuff kind of gets Will Ferrell annoying to me.
Yeah, I can
at
see
some
that.
point, but I do think he's pretty funny.
He did the Brian Fellow character.
Yeah, is he like your favorite out of the 4? Or no?
I mean, if I had to pick, I'd pick Eddie Murphy. He probably made me laugh the most of all of them.
Nice.
But I was surprised because I would never, like, I love Adam Sandler, but I'm never the hugest fan of him on SNL. Mm-hmm. But he had a lot of good sketches, so he got the bump, the Buddy Shots bump this week.
Who, Adam Sandler?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, hopefully his career takes off.
Yeah. I hope he's okay.
Fucked. Yeah.
Happy Gilmore 2 coming this fall.
I know. Overall, yeah, I was pretty entertained.
Good.
There's just few things where I was like, and it wasn't like I was like, this is boring. I said, I don't think I've been more confused on Buddy Shots than that, and that's saying a lot because I was like, mainly because I was expecting comedy, and it was like somebody just dropped a fucking random like.
They probably just stuck that
piece
one at
in
the
it.
end of the show when they knew everyone was asleep.
It was just weird. It's like, huh? Yeah, they're probably like, okay, we got to fill time. Go out there and do whatever you guys want to do. Kind of seems like that's what they did for a lot on that show with Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo. I don't even know. Who else was in the cast back then?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Because
those were the guys.
One random white dude kept showing up, but I'd never heard of him or seen him since. So it's like, did he go on to do nothing, I guess? Or?
Yeah, it was a shallow period.
Shallow.
SNL.
Well, I think it's the first time we watch SNL on the podcast.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And it'll be the last.
Did you say it will be the last? Okay.
Should we move on to the main event? Ding, ding, ding.
Sure, why not?
Metro from 1997. Starring Eddie Murphy. Michael Rappaport. And as the unforgettable villain, what was his name? Falco?
The character from Star Fox.
Corda. Michael Wincott.
Michael Wincott. Fucking Temu version of Tig.
Directed by Thomas Carter, this was Eddie Murphy's last R-rated film.
Damn.
Yeah, because he moved more into family entertainment.
Started making the big bucks. That's where the money is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I don't have anything to say about that as far as R-rated.
What'd you think of Metro?
I thought it was mainly good. There was some weird stuff in it that I was kind of... Yeah.
I like it a lot. I'm not gonna say it's one of the best movies ever.
I mean, you can if
but
you
there's
want.
weird stuff in it, like you said, that it almost seems like this was a 3-hour long movie that they cut down to 2 hours. So there's just a lot going on in it.
Yeah, and there's some stuff that it's almost too middle of the road for its own good. It doesn't go hard enough to be a pure action,
Badass action movie.
But it doesn't go light enough for it to be straight up comedy.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, I like.
I can see why it didn't do so well, but not because I think it's bad, but just because it's it's too middle of the road and it gets fucking kind of.
I like the character
crisis.
of Scott Roper because it
Who's
seems
that?
like Eddie Murphy.
Oh, that's Eddie Murphy's
Yeah.
character. Okay.
Roper?
Yeah, I was like,
It seems like he
Ebert
wanted
liked
to
him.
play more of a badass. Yeah.
him and Ebert at the movies. He's like ding 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 ding.
More of a badass character, but
Yeah.
still be funny in a few scenes. And
Yeah.
I thought he was good at both.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me, I feel this kind of character is the perfect character for Eddie Murphy to play. It's a shame that I guess he did a cop character in the Beverly Hills movies and stuff.
But he was always,
Yeah,
being a character, hamming it up. He was never really a
he's
badass.
a fucking character.
But he's the hostage negotiator.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the opening heist gone wrong scene?
Yeah, I think this is, like I said, this is a perfect character for Eddie Murphy to play. I never would have probably thought to, cast him as a hostage negotiator, but when you think about it, it makes perfect sense because he's,
He was good.
won't shut the fuck up. In a good way. He is straight up distracting and, before he's kind of I could see him also being really good as, a magician. To distract the audience and stuff like that. Like IRL.
He does. He works his magic. My God, he's good.
Yeah,
think
he's got a trait, I guess, the beginning of the movie where he bets on horses in this movie.
A lot of gambling action.
But
Your boy Donald Logue as the scaredest hostage taker ever.
oh
He was
yeah.
totally panicking the whole time.
Yeah, that was the highlight. Seeing him in action. Fucking good old fucking Harvey
He's
Bullock
gonna have a
from
freaking heart
Gotham.
attack.
Yeah, he always plays the. Well, not
Help
always.
me!
I was gonna say he always plays these characters, but he did not play that character in Blade. He doesn't play that kind of character in Ghost Rider or Sons of Anarchy or Part and Gotham. So I'm that was instantly a lie. I'm full of shit. Cozy girl, you lazy bitch, you hag ass bitch. I was Eddie Murphy popping off right at the beginning.
Yep. Knew you were in good hands.
I was gonna say another week, another fucking task force.
Task Force week.
Yeah, I was my favorite parts of his entire movies is when he's negotiating.
Yeah, it's a really
fucking
good scene,
hostage
and
things.
it was actually suspenseful. I thought,
it's kind of a shame to me that there wasn't more of that. I kind of wish that was. I mean, that's his job. Or I don't know if I said I wish that was his job because it is, but I wish that we saw more of him. I don't know, I would have watched I would have loved to see just a whole series or a movie where literally all he did was go in and
it was good stuff.
diffuse
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I'm probably wrong on this, but I think to me, like, the weakest stuff was, like, when they kept trying to push the Joe Piscopo serious, like, love stuff.
See, I like that part too. That wasn't my least favorite part of the movie. I like those scenes too. I thought it worked. What I didn't, and my biggest complaint is the like his partner, Michael Rappaport, was like totally underdeveloped. Like that was a part of the movie that could have just been deleted, and it would have been just
I feel like that's kind
good.
of a lot of stuff in this film.
Yeah,
like the stuff with his girlfriend is like you think that like something's gonna happen, and like as far as like I could have sworn that they were gonna like kill her, and they don't, and I was like, okay, like, and then there are parts like where, like you said, with his,
and even his first part, was it his partner at the beginning who got murdered by Corda?
He's like a friend because
like
he didn't want a partner because his last partner like fucked up a hostage negotiation and like got killed, and then this other guy that's his friend at the police station gets killed by Corda, but like how did he even know it was him that killed him? Like there's like you said, there's like scenes missing from this film because I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. This person that like he's having to like negotiate with hostages, like, is the guy that turns out to be the guy that like killed his fucking friend.
Yeah,
but he like knows it's him somehow. I'm like, how does he instantly think that like fucking the guy that he went to talk to is the guy that killed the dude in the fucking elevator?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the guy gets killed and he's not like, help, I'm being killed by Corda. He gets killed instantly and he has no time to like say anything. Some lady finds him and like screams.
But even that, we were supposed to like, because you can totally tell the dude's dead meat, like when he goes into the. But I'm like,
the
I
way
barely
it's
even know
framed,
who this
like,
guy is.
Yeah, there's going to be either a fucking explosion and he's going to die excessive force style, or like.
Plus, anytime you see what's his name, Corda.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting his name. Michael Wincott, you know he's up to no good.
But it's like
he's always playing villains.
I don't really understand. Like, I don't know. For some reason, this guy is like trying to lay low after he's like, you know, the guy gives him up that he fenced these things. And then the first thing he does is go to a jewelry store and take hostages. I feel like there was like another cut scene in that because it literally makes no sense. Like most of this film doesn't make any sense. It's like as far as that goes, because not only does he take hostages, but then he like takes them on like a huge like lethal weapon fucking chase. And I was like, dude, if you were like trying to lay low and like, because like the guy's like, his friend is like, I'm sorry I sold you out, and he's like, there's nothing you can do now. No matter where I go in the entire world, I'm fucked. I'm like, what? So the first thing he does is, instead of trying to lay low, is go straight to take fucking hostages. And I'm like, huh?
Go on a chase that destroys half the city.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I was just like confused, but I'm pretty sure like I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, that's why I feel like there was way more in this movie, and it's still long. It's still 2 hours long.
Right. Yeah, I think there's just too many plots going on that just don't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But going back to Eddie Murphy as the hostage negotiator, he gets out this like one dude, this old guard that like got fucking shot. And he essentially, the guy wasn't going to let anybody go, and then he essentially starts getting like him out, and then he gets like 4 people out. And then he just, like, shoots the guy in the arm. And he's like, I give up. And it's like, the guy was, like... Essentially, he went from getting nothing to getting anything he wanted, like, instantly. Because he was so distracting and good at his job.
That was great.
It
probably was the best scene in the movie, now that I think about it.
I mean, him doing that is the best part of the movie by far.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other stuff's weak, like... You know, him trying to bond with his partner is cool. But, like, the problem is... They capture the bad guy, like... 1/3 of the way through this film, and then there's like, what the fuck? Like nothing happens. I mean, stuff happens, but it's kind of like, it's weird. It's like it's definitely not something you would expect. You know what I mean? And not in the worst way, but it's also not. I don't know.
Like a lot of movies we watch, the plot is like nonsense.
Yeah.
But it was entertaining to me throughout. Like maybe just Eddie Murphy is fun enough to watch that I don't care that the plot makes no sense. But dude, did you notice something weird about when he brought in the donuts?
No.
He ordered a dozen, but when you show how many donuts are in the bag, there were only 3.
Dude, he's a good negotiator. He told the guy he had 12, but he only had 3, and he believed him.
Well, dude, I watched this.
He's like, and I believe him.
I watched the Siskel and Ebert review of this, and Siskel called that out. He's like, "Did you notice this?" Mm-hmm. And Roger was like, "He probably ate the other 9. I know, I would have." And Siskel was like, "Yeah," I was like cracking up.
Yeah.
It's like that was hilarious. Did you like Michael Wincott in this movie?
Yeah.
I always like him.
I don't really know what else I've seen him in. But...
He was in Nope. Remember, he was like the director that helped him like film the creature. He was also the bad guy in The Crow.
Okay.
He's been in lots of shit.
So memorable. I remembered him. Yeah, it's kind of like in a blink and you'll miss it scene in Nope. I mean, he's in that, but he's also like, he kind of comes in late and he's not playing like an antagonist, like a bad guy.
For once in his life.
Yeah. For once in my life. Eddie Murphy is having problems with his ex-wife. Shocking that a police officer would be having problems with their wife. Or his ex-girlfriend. I guess they never got married.
Yeah.
But that's something also that doesn't really get defined till pretty much the movie's over. It's like, oh, they were never married.
But there was also never any conflict with like the guy she was dating.
Yeah, he shows up like one time and then he's like, see you later.
Yeah.
I'm out of this film.
Like, bye, movie.
Yeah, I've only been paid for one day. I'm like, okay.
That's just an example of like all the stuff that could have been cut
It's like
out.
that stuff I didn't really think about until like you sent me that Roger Ebert thing.
Yeah.
But it didn't like cross my mind because it really didn't matter. But there are other stuff that did really matter where it was like there are just scenes that go nowhere. There are scenes that never start, but then they just continue halfway through, like where the dude's just taking hostages. Oh, this is the main bad guy of the film, and he's already locked up halfway through the film. What the fuck is going on right now? Like,
we need to re-edit it.
I feel like scenes
movie.
are out of order.
Release the
like...
Snyder cut of Metro.
No, don't. Also, I didn't understand why, like, this must have been another deleted scene, but at one point his boss is like, we need to train someone to take over for you. And I'm like, has he ever said he wanted to quit? Like, and he's...
Why?
It's like James Bond is stopping all the fucking world events, and, like, you know, M is like, we need to have someone take over for you. Okay, well, I didn't say I wanted to retire, and I haven't fucked up, so what? I don't get it. That was just another thing careful. Where I didn't understand, like, why.
Yeah.
That's never talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that could have been cut out of the movie and wouldn't have missed it.
It was because there's no conflict with his boss, either. There's usually, not like I'm saying there needs to be. It's nice to have something be different and original for once, but, like, in this, you think that his boss is going to be like, you fucking fucked everything up. But he, like, does everything great. So he's not a problem.
You're a loose cannon, Metro.
And, like, his betting doesn't... He's not, like, poor. So what the fuck was the point of that? Like...
Does the gambling really lead to anything?
Right, like, his girlfriend... I don't even know if she really complains about it. She maybe says, like... Because usually in these movies, what'll happen is... The main character is, like, doing something shitty, like they're gambling all the money away and they don't have any, you know, to live on. But he's still making a shit ton of money, and he's got plenty of money, and he has no issues where, like, having a place to live. And so his girlfriend really, other than not liking him gambling, but if he's not losing enough to make it matter, who cares? So there's no conflict in this film, really, which is weird. The only conflict is that when his girlfriend gets, like, kidnapped, he has to save her. But that almost feels like tacked on.
Yeah. Need one more action scene at the end.
Yeah. That boy can run. He can hit. Why don't you get some pom-poms and cheer him? Fuck him. Fuck Greg.
That's great.
I was like, go Greg. Truck smells like fish and shit. I was like,
I remember that line from the trailer.
Yeah, I bet that was the line in the trailer for sure.
Whose truck is that, Red Fox?
Yeah.
So when this movie came out, I looked it up, it came out the same day as Beverly Hills Ninja,
Hmm.
which we definitely saw in theaters, and that was a mistake because that movie is a disaster. You've seen that one, right?
Yeah.
Not good. Should have watched Metro instead.
I liked it. I thought
Oh,
Beverly
really?
Hills Ninja wasn't bad. I mean, it's like essentially all those movies are pretty. It's like Chris Farley fucks up and then he makes good. That's every comedian movie. Adam Sandler, most of his movies, he fucks up. He does good. It's like
Calling him out. Got him.
but it works. I mean, it's like Rocky. Same shit every time. Some guy comes along, kicks his ass, and then he trains and beats his ass for the most part. So, so this is like a subversion. Like, this movie is like, Ryan Johnson must have loved this film when he was growing up. 'Cause this is like the subversion film. You find out that this son that the ladies his girlfriend's talking about isn't his son. It's a dog.
Whoa.
I'm like, so you're before you were an asshole, and now you're like a super asshole because for whatever reason you weren't spending time with your dog? Not that it makes it any worse or better that you're not spending time with your dog or your fucking son, but it's like, why were you...
She was also talking about him like he was a human being. Like,
Yeah,
he misses you.
This is very, like... This whole film was like, we're going to shock you with what we're going to do, but there was never, like, a shock. It was like, there's parts where, like, you think that the girlfriend's going to be killed.
Yeah.
Like, or you're going to find the dog dead, or, like...
They do the mirror trick where
nothing
she's looking in the
happens.
mirror.
It's like, this dude comes to kill her, and she easily fights him off and lives, and I'm like... Not that I wanted to see a murder, but at the same time, that would have actually been something shocking and noteworthy. This was like, she gets away, and Eddie Murphy just straight up fucking kills the fucking bad guy. Kills the henchman, the Casey Jones to me. Just throws him out in front of a bus, and he gets killed. I'm like, okay. I mean, not that it wasn't justified, because he was trying to kill his girlfriend, but still, it was like, good lord. Yeah, there was like a scene where he's teaching the new guy on hostage negotiation, and he's like just ripping.
Dude, that was
into him.
hilarious.
And it's like, that's just another scene that was like funny, but it's also like, why is this in the film other than to make, like Eddie Murphy
Let Eddie
funny?
cook. Yeah.
Right. It was like, okay, like.
I like that scene. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like it was literally worthless because it went nowhere, which sucks because I wanted them to do more with those characters. I wanted, like...
Yeah. To me, that was the weakest part of this movie.
Right, which sucks because it should have been the strongest, one of the strongest, but
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I think the only really strong part of this film for me was, like, whenever Eddie Murphy was just going off, but he really doesn't go off all that much. He's, like, very serious in this film, and, like, the hostage negotiation stuff is really good. Yeah.
Whenever I think about this movie, what I think of first is the chase scene in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was amazing. I love that. It's like one of the best action scenes of the 90s. It was awesome. What did you think of that?
I thought it was okay.
The trolley chase?
Yeah.
I was just like...
It's probably because I've seen Lethal Weapon before. I was like...
Like... Yeah. Go on.
As far as chase scenes. They don't really do it for me. Chase scenes.
I know you're not a big action guy. But I was
Well,
just
I like
blown away by,
action, but like...
how did they do
car
this?
chase scenes don't really blow me away as much.
Like, it went on so long.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is when things go on for so long like that, I'm like, okay. Dude, he killed the fuck out of that guy driving the thing, though. That's what it would, like, ratchet it into overdrive.
That was sweet. Yeah, that's... to me, it's like the best. It makes the movie. That and the hostage negotiation stuff that you're into. But just like the logistics of... They were filming that downtown San Francisco and, like, blowing up cars and, like, like, it was crazy. How'd they do that?
A lot of money.
Lots of effort.
Yeah. How much money
What
was
was pre-CGI days?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll look it up. I don't think it was a big hit, but this was like after Eddie Murphy had some hard times. He had the big comeback with Nutty Professor. So this was like right after that. So
he made Nutty Professor and then he like fucked up. That's kind of weird that he did Nutty Professor and then this. You would think he would do this and then Nutty Professor, because this is like... Like you said, this is R-rated.
It had a budget of $55 million and made 74, so
It made
that's
money
not
back.
a hit.
But it still made money back, right?
No,
No?
probably not, because the marketing's usually
that's
as
right,
much as the
yeah.
budget. So
All that marketing for no one to have heard of it. That sucks.
yeah,
What do you think could have like saved this film as far as like making money?
I don't know.
Do you
Probably
think maybe recast for some of the people, or
I don't know. I don't know if people wanted to see Eddie Murphy as like not being hilarious all the time.
I don't know. I've seen him in other stuff where he's not hilarious all the time. Yeah, maybe it's not like so much who's cast in this film. It's like the script or shit. I think
Yeah.
there's too many things going on. Not enough focus.
The director said it was a big mistake to make it R-rated,
Yeah.
so maybe that hurt it.
I thought, did you send me something, or I read something where like the director wanted to make like something super serious, like Seven.
That's what Michael Rappaport said about it.
And,
He's
like-
like, that movie was whack. Probably because like he seems like he had. I bet he had tons of deleted scenes in this movie
Yeah.
because he's not in it very much at all, and he's like second build
Yeah.
or third.
But there was a ton of stuff with Eddie Murphy that got cut because, like Robin Williams, he's just like riffs and is like cracking everybody up and stuff like a comedian. But then, like, if they're trying to cut it or they're trying to make this an R-rated film, and you have someone like, you know, unless it's like Deadpool now, like how, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
But like, I mean, I think I like this movie way more than you. Like you're criticizing the hell out of the plot, which I totally get. But to me, it's entertaining enough, and Eddie Murphy's awesome in it, and the action's great. So it's like all pluses for me.
Cool.
I'm sorry you didn't have as much fun with it.
Well, it's not like I didn't have fun with it. It's kind of a shame to see something like this not do well.
It did well for me.
Okay.
You want to know, dude? This is a semi-interesting story. The first time I ever saw this was on a bootleg tape because our friend Ryan, his dad was able to like get some movies on tape while they were still in theaters.
Oh,
We're
wow.
like, whoa!
Yeah.
So that was the first time I ever saw it, and I was like, I can't believe I'm watching a movie that's in theaters on tape for free. I remember he did that 2 times. It was Metro and Alien Resurrection, also starring Michael Wincott.
Another
Maybe he was just
awesome
a Wincott
film.
head. Yeah.
No, I don't think this movie sucks. I guess I'm ripping on it, but it's mainly because I see what it could have been, and
Yeah,
like, it's just
in a better world, there'd
it's
be
a
10
complete
more Metro
fuck
movies.
up. Not a complete fuck up, but it was completely useless. Everything about this movie sucks. No, it was like, I don't know how you can have Eddie Murphy and like, I feel like he just wasn't, like he was awesome in this, but it's like also, somehow there just wasn't enough Eddie Murphy in an Eddie Murphy movie, even though he was in every scene, if that makes sense.
Well, if you didn't, there were lots of romance scenes too, like him and his
I liked her.
girlfriend
I
doing-
liked his girlfriend a
Yeah,
lot because
I
she
did
wasn't
too.
like an asshole character. She was like likable, but
Carmen Ejego as Ronnie.
and in a romance thing, you have to have a reason for there to be conflict if there's going to be fights. But there just was never a reason why they broke up. You
I know
never
they got
find
along
it
great
out.
the whole time. Like,
And so
they're all
like
about
that's
each
why
other.
it to me it was like you can't just be like these two people are like, you know, in a romance and never really say why they even broke up. I feel like they wanted like the cake, but they didn't want to do the work to make it. So it was, but that's kind of I feel like a lot of this like you said, I feel like there's in another world there's like a version of this that was on Criterion that had all these deleted scenes where you found out why the fuck this makes like why there's so many things that go nowhere, or like not really go nowhere, but like just there's so many things that just start in the middle and you're like, did I fuck up? Like I had to rewind this film like 4 times because I was like, why is this guy taking hostages?
The only thing I rewound was that part where he was like, "Fuck him," because I thought it was so funny.
But like I was just trying to find, I guess, sense in a movie where they're probably. I guess if I looked at this more like an action film, I probably would have. I probably should have just been like, whatever. But I guess I was thinking of it more like a kind of like Eddie Murphy comedy or something. Because usually his films, even though they'll be goofy or something, like even like, you know, a stupid movie like a Dr. Dolittle or Haunted Mansion, at least it's like plot A, plot B, plot C kind of thing. This was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, but even like that stuff's never really bothered me. Like most of the James Bond movies, the plot like makes no sense. You can't follow it, but it's just fun.
I mean, it does usually. I mean, it's all over the place, but at the same time, like they don't just have James Bond show up in the middle of a scene and be like, you know, there's no reason why like this is happening. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm just so, I guess, shocked about the whole bad guy being caught in the middle of the film and fucking...
That's all backwards. What's with that?
Right, I was like...
They caught him in the first act. But that was another thing. The villain was sweet in this. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, I did too.
He was pretty scary. Like,
they
legit.
I feel like they kind
menacing.
of fucked him up. I was like... I feel like they kind of ruined him, but... He randomly throws a dude when we're on the trolley off, and I was like, what the fuck? Where he's like, get the fuck off! And it was like, the guy didn't fight with him or anything. It was literally just some random dude he threw off the trolley and told him to get the fuck off. I was like,
dude, the part when
cracking up.
They start falling off and everyone's like rolling down the hill, I was like, dude, how did they do that? Rolled a bunch of dudes down a hill, barrel style.
Yeah, I was like, huh? So the guy's plan was like, what the fuck? What was his plan? He like got on a trolley and like commandeered it, but like trolleys can't like drive away. They're like on a predetermined
They're on
track.
rails.
Yeah, so it was like I started like halfway through the chase. I was like, wait, where the fuck is he going?
It was just an excuse to use a streetcar for an action scene.
I wasn't like something that I was like pissed about. I was just kind of like, huh? Yeah, this was like super long because not only do they have the trolley scene, but then he jumps off and then he goes into an abandoned like building, like factory or whatever, and it's like peekaboo.
Yeah.
Also, he like, I don't think I talked about that, but this happens like twice in the film. He like fucking like Donald Sutherland's it twice, where he's driving a car and then he just crashes for no reason. And that's how he gets captured. He's like in a parking garage and like tries to run down Eddie Murphy to escape, and instead he just drives into a car. And
Dude, that was hilarious.
And then like earlier he's like getting away from them and he's like, and then he crashes. And I was like, this guy is like the worst fucking driver ever. But every time it happened, I was like, okay.
That was his one weakness.
Funny.
He sucked at driving.
Yeah.
Dude, I forgot when he crashed. When
It's
he
like-
was trying to run down Eddie Murphy. It was like just so stupid.
It's like stupid action film shit where it's like, this is funny to watch, but like you can't watch this movie and actually take this seriously. Like, was it supposed to be serious? Because like they're treating it like it's serious. Because Eddie Murphy like pulls a gun on him, and is like, I'm gonna fucking kill you for killing my partner. And that was the first time I found out that he knew that was the guy that killed his partner. Because it was like,
It's basically his whole mission in this movie is revenge.
right, revenge that's like talked about in the last second of the film. It's like, hey. And then he says, I'm gonna do this shit by the book after he pistol whips him. And I'm like, what? That's when I was like, wait, there's 15 more minutes left in this film? I was a little confused because that's usually the end of the film. But not in this film. Because
no.
there's revenge on the mind of the bad guy. Eddie's making salad dressing and says to his ex, put your ass in this to make it sweet. He said,
I found those scenes very charming.
they should have not been where they were. Like, this movie has an editing problem. Like, I feel like, to me, it's like, I feel like this, where he gets caught and shit, the bad guy, or like, I don't know, well, it's weird because, like, the main bad guy of this film plays, like, a bunch of roles. Like, he plays, like, the underboss and the main boss.
Yeah.
Because
He
he
gets
gets
his hands
captured,
dirty.
and then he gets out and becomes the main boss. And I was like, huh.
There was one funny quote. Some critic
Dude.
Criticized the plot as riddled with action movie cliches, and described the scene where Corda breaks out of jail as laughably preposterous.
That was funny, though, where he, like, gets on the conveyor belt of, like, fucking dry cleaning and just hangs on it. And it's like...
GOH, garment on hanger.
It's like, makes sense. Eddie made love to his ex when he lost a hostage, and it was intense. I'm like, okay. So he fucking likes murderers? Yeah, it's like there's small parts where, like, when Eddie's training the guy and he has, like, an awesome memory, like, that
cool.
should have went somewhere, but not only does it not go anywhere, but, like, when he does all this impressive stuff, Eddie's like, nice. And I'm like, was he about to rip into him? But no, he actually, like, it just goes to the next scene. I was like, dude, that was a scene that should have been expanded on, and some of this other shit should have been cut. But I don't know, maybe they should have, maybe it should have, this maybe needs, like, a extended edition, because
yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
They cut some shit that made no sense. It's like, apparently, I don't know.
Release the 3-hour version of Metro.
Yeah. Cut out the subplot with the fucking ex seeing some random dude. Mike wants his friend Clarence to kidnap or kill Eddie's ex. He's like, this is your fault. And I was like, what? Because, like, the guy's in jail for something he did.
Yeah.
So I was like, the guy... Yeah, at the beginning, the guy told the... You know, at most, if he was fencing shit, he would have probably got some jail time. But, like, you know, him killing a dude is worse than what he did before. And then to instantly go and try to steal again and do a hostage situation, it's like... At first, I thought that was a flashback, but it wasn't. But then he was like, this is your fault. And I'm like... what? He's like gaslighting this dude that you find out is his like cousin or his brother or something. He's like, he was my family, and I was like, and then he's like, I don't give a shit about anybody but me, and I was like, what is going on? Yeah, they fake the audience out twice with the mirror. Then Clarence starts trying to kill her, and it fails hardcore.
Yeah.
Worst
henchman
This
ever.
character, like, is not set up to be, like, a killer. Like, he's doing this.
He doesn't want to do it.
Because he's, like, afraid that he's going to be killed by, like his friend. But,
kill
like,
that woman or I'll kill you.
Yeah, it was like, okay, this is lame as fuck. This guy sucks. It's kind of sad to see him get killed because, like...
I thought the same thing.
He was the victim in this whole thing. Because he informed the cops on what his friend did, and his reward was being killed by Eddie Murphy. Well, I mean, I guess he tried to kill his girlfriend, but...
Yeah.
Also, the way Clarence was running, he should have outrun Eddie Murphy hardcore. In that fucking alley, he's like the Flash, and Eddie Murphy's like... Yeah, and then he throws him into into traffic, and he gets killed, and I was like... Holy fuck. And then it just cuts to him being like, you see this picture? I killed him. And he's like, okay, what the fuck?
Metro committed murder.
Straight up fucking committed to a murder.
I like calling him Metro, even though that's not his name.
You think that, like, his last name would be Metro?
I know.
Like, what's his name in this again?
Roper.
It's like
Scott
the
Roper.
dumbest fucking name in the history of movies.
It's really bad. Should have been John Metro.
Yeah. Or Scott Metro, or, like, Metro Man.
Rope week.
Eddie Metro. This whole movie... But, like, I at this point, for whatever reason, I put this whole movie should have just been a series of failed attempts by original thief from prison sending dudes to kill Eddie and his wife, but Three Stooges style. And then I was like, hey, maybe that wouldn't have been good. Also, it's like, the bad guy, you can tell he's actually a bad guy because he randomly, for no reason, gets racist in jail. And I was like, okay, dude. Calls Eddie, like, something racist or says something, and it's like, that's when you know it's fucking on. It's like...
He went there.
He's like, even if it takes me 1,000,000 years, I'm gonna fucking kill you. What? And I was just like, isn't this shit recorded? Like, okay, that's another 10 years for fucking... Not like I guess it really matters because he escaped from a maximum security prison
super easily
through the fucking... Like where... It didn't even show where it led out, so it just... I guess it just led out to freedom. Like, I guess the conveyor belt just goes outside.
Yeah, over the fence.
What? They go to a restaurant. It's played for laughs, super fancy style. Guy says, "We've got cracked Bulgare," and I was like, essentially Eddie Murphy's making fun of this guy for being fancy. Like, oh, and I was like, totally something that you saw a lot in films.
Yeah, I like that scene too. Oh, that was good. Gotta make fun of the snooty waiters.
Yeah,
it's a classic trope.
Yeah, they fake out the audience. You think that they killed the dog, but then he's just like, for whatever reason, the dog was hiding from the audience. They're like, "Hey, where you at? Where you at? Where you at?" For like 2 minutes, and then he comes out. It's like, "Ah!" And I'm like, "What?
Where they at? Where they at?
Yeah.
Where they at? The dog's in there, standing next to Vanna White. Oh."
Then like Eddie goes upstairs, and his girlfriend is gone. So it's like, well, faked me out 100 times, and then actually did it.
Fooled me thrice.
Yeah. I did think that was kind of cool where, like, because earlier in the film, he gives him essentially like a wrapped up thing, and he opens it, and there's like a ear in it or something.
Mm.
And he's like, "I'll keep sending out pieces if you fuck with me." Because earlier in the film, his tactics worked, but in this, they don't work against, like, the main bad guy, Mike or whatever.
Corda.
Yeah.
Corda's going down.
It's another shitty name.
I know.
Actually, what's his name? What's his first name?
I think it's just Corda.
Mike Corda? Because I kept calling him Mike. I think it's Mike Corda.
Oh, yeah, Michael Corda.
Yeah. It's not horrible.
It's no Scott
Corda's
Roper.
kind of weird because it's like, that's too close to, like, cord. So it's like...
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah. Also, like, why would you give the name of a bad guy like something plain like Mike? It's like, Mikes have never been killers.
You know what my favorite name of all time is? Arnold Schwarzenegger in Collateral Damage. When he plays Gordy Brewer. Gordy Brewer.
That's like straight out of Expendables. It's like,
I know.
Fucking something like Child would come up with, like Mad Lib style. Like, what was it? What's the one dude's name? Like Toll Road.
Yeah, Hail Caesar.
It's like, these have to be like code names. Otherwise, they're all like brothers, and their parents were like fucking the Joker or some shit. But like I was saying, he unwraps the paper and he finds the ear, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then later, when his girlfriend gets kidnapped, another paper, and you're like, oh shit, this is like intense. And then it's like a tape, but it's like, I kind of wish that there was more stuff like that in a film where it was more intense and stuff, because that was it's like, that's when I was like, whoa man, they know how to do it. Keep you on the edge of your seat. And he's like, come alone or I'll fucking kill her. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, the ending's, it's not bad, it's not great. It does feel kind of tacked on.
If you like action movies, it's straight up out of an action film.
But I did love the way Corda is dispatched.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
He fucks himself over. It's like, okay.
But the whole having his girlfriend strapped to the head cutting off machine, I was like, come on.
She could have like put her head up. I was like, what? Mike thought that Eddie came alone, but his sniper pal like hid under the car. Max Cady, Sideshow Bob style.
Yep.
I thought that was cool.
That was cool. It's like the coolest thing he got to do in the movie.
Yeah. I thought this was pretty cool. Like, Eddie was stuck holding the button, and if he lets go of it, his girlfriend like gets killed. But if he doesn't like move, he'll be run over. I was like, dude, I wish there was more stuff like that in the film. But then. Yeah, he gets like shot and the car like blows the fuck up.
Dude, it was awesome.
Shit.
He's like, ah!
Yeah, I was like, okay. Yeah, because
what he
they
jams
put
the
that, yeah,
gas,
and he says,
gas
"Get off," and I was like, "Who are you talking to?"
I know.
Get off, and I was like, it was like John Glover style. I was like, okay, yeah, he said, "Get the fuck off," and it was like, boom, and I was like,
that was like, mwah, chef's
why'd the
kiss.
car blow up?
Yeah.
Other fucking
Good question.
um,
Because it looked cool.
Eddie talking about getting naked in Tahiti.
Naked, not naked.
Yeah. I'm getting naked on the beach. I'll get naked in the room and run around for you. I was like... And then the movie just, like, ends. It was, like, more banter that just randomly goes on. I was like...
You're like, goodbye, movie. We're leaving now.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess the movie's over.
We won't see you in Metro 2.
Yeah. I was like, huh?
Maybe it would have made more money if it was called Roper.
Sure. Whatever.
I'm going 8.95 on this bad boy because I find it to be an above average action movie. I really like it. I'd recommend it. How about you?
Probably like a 6.
Cool.
I'm not going any lower because Eddie Murphy brings it. Everybody brings it in this film. It's just the movie's cut like a Stevie Wonder did or something.
Nice. Cool.
But it just sucks because, like I said earlier, I mean, I've said it. I just wish, like they're tiny.
It's a bit of a mess.
Well, there's parts that I was like, whoa, this is legit. And then there are parts where I'm like,
Yeah.
and not like that's like a criticism. It's like, as far as like, you know, I've watched plenty of these films, like, you know, all the Steven Seagal movies are a fucking mess. Where it's like they're goofy as fuck and stuff, but it's fine. But like, even those, the plot, for the most part, was like A to Z. This, it was just like, I don't know, all over the place. But I think I care about that stuff a little more than most people, than you do at least, because you're like, I'll just watch it and not give a fuck.
Pretty much.
So yeah.
So what's on tap for next episode?
Yeah. Well.
How are you going to top Metro Week?
I'm like, no comment. I'm like, no comment. I won't tell you. So, next week it's going to be all about Kevin Costner.
Oh.
Oh, he's still a family man after all these years.
Dude.
He's going to buck the Hollywood system with these.
What a maverick.
Yeah. I'm like, they had to find tiny cows. But he like walks off. It's like, what? So, both these films have the same thing in common. Can you think of what these two films are? They're...
Baseball related?
Yes.
Ah. Field of Dreams?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Bull Durham?
Yes.
All right.
So, Bull Durham and Field of Dreams.
Baseball Week.
Made like 1 year apart, essentially, like his... I don't know, I looked and I guess he's got a couple other films where he was in baseball films. And I was like, good lord, dude.
Cool.
He didn't fuck around, I guess, when it comes to that, but...
Two big movies of
They're
the
ones
80s.
that I've always had my eye on, but I've never watched, so...
Oh, you've never seen them?
No, yeah.
Oh, wow. We watched Field of Dreams in school, like, multiple times, I remember.
Yeah, never...
Cool.
When was that?
Probably, like, I don't know, 4th grade?
Was it when you were in Synergy or whatever? Or...
Maybe.
Yeah. Like, yo, you didn't watch it when you weren't in that class? I'm like, shit! So I'm hoping I didn't screw myself. Because I hate baseball. No, actually, I like baseball. I don't really like watching baseball, like, IRL, but, like, baseball movies are pretty legit. Like, I really liked The Sandlot when I was a kid, and, like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I kind of was looking up Kevin Costner, or I wasn't looking up Kevin Costner specifically, but it's like, man, I've never seen Field of Dreams, and, you know, that one's kind of interesting because it seems to be, like, supernatural in nature and stuff, baseball, and then it's like, well, what can I pair with that? Okay, oh, shit, he's actually made other films with baseball. So.
Nice. Now I'm thinking I'm going to have to get you in the batting cage and throw some strikes at you for next week.
in your house. Break all your shit.
Your favorite thing, taking the plate.
Well, I mean, like I used to go to the batting cages. It was kind of fun, but probably been like 20 years since I've done that. But like you said, not a fan of getting on the actual plate. So back then, I used to think that was the number one goal of the pitcher was to hit me. It was like, that's actually not what they want to do, because then they walk you.
I got hit a lot.
But back then, I was like, but it's also like, I think my thought, the only reason I think I had like warranted thoughts of that is because like back then, when we were younger, like kids don't have super great control.
No, not at all.
So it's like, I think I was warranted in that. I think.
Like, can the coaches pitch for a few more years? Like, Jesus, I'm getting nailed over
yeah.
here.
Well, I think I was warranted in that, but the reason why I was scared is because I thought I was going to get like maliciously hit, not on accident. And the accident is more what would happen, not like, let's hit this motherfucker. But yeah.
They're like, sweep his leg with
Fucking
a baseball.
kill his ass!
Do you have a problem with that?
Yeah, it's like, huh?
Alright,
Cool.
cool.
What a bunch of fucking Bull Durham. What the fuck is a Bull Durham even mean, damn it?
We'll find out.
Or will I?
You be the judge.
Or will I?
Bye.
Hello. And that's it for us today. And whatever this is, I don't know what this is on the teleprompter. I've never seen it before.
No, there is. We're gonna do Spunkadelic. Yeah.
Okay, but I can't read it. There are no words on it!
Okay. Ready?
There's no words there! To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out?
It's a video. A Spunkadelic video. For credits.
What is? I don't know what that means, to play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah. Alright. Go. In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and
In 5, 4, 3.
that's tomorrow. That's it for us today, and we will leave you with this. I can't do it. I just can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Fuck this. Write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
And that's it for us today. I'm Mike. Thanks for watching. We're going to leave you with a cut off of Spunkadelic's new album. Take it away.